What's up guys, welcome to Munchkins Gaming, where we take your gaming to the next level. This is Munchkins logging in to bring you another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. And welcome back to another Should You Pull video for the upcoming banner for Dissidia Opera Omnia. In this video we are going to be taking a look at Prompto'S Lost Chapter banner, which obviously includes his EX, as well as a new EX weapon that's coming to global, which is for Freya. You can get both their 15 and 35 CP on this banner, and the third wheel for this one is going to be King, which you can grab his 15 and 35 CP weapon. Now before we start, as always, like and subscribe if you haven't already. I really do appreciate all the support that you guys give me, so won't take much of your time, and let's start this video. Okay guys, we'll start this video off with Freya's rework. Let's take a look at her first ability's rework, which is Resist Wind Extend. This will now get 2 additional uses and extension to the duration of Resist Wind buff by 1 turn. That's not a lot, but the plus 2 extra uses is definitely a lot. Now this ability didn't have any Brave attack previously, which now it will have a 2-hit range Brave plus HP attack with a 120% max Brave overflow limit as well. This still grants the party Brave based on the max Brave, and still will grant Freya the jump ability, I guess. This basically replaces her Brave attack with a jump, which is going to be a 2-hit Brave attack which moderately raises the total Brave potency. Now as for her second ability, Dragon Breath, this doesn't really have much change. The biggest change to me is the increase in total Brave potency of Dragon Breath. This still has the same max Brave overflow and still will deal 50% splash damage. It does, however, extend the duration of Dragon Crest by 3 turns and increasing its stack by 1 when you're attacking a broken target or breaking a target. You still get the high jump as always. Other than that, there's really not much change for Freya's ability 2. Now let's talk about her EX weapon called the Partisan. This gives her the EX ability Cherry Blossom, which is going to be a 6-hit range AoE Brave plus HP attack. The Brave hits are going to be distributed when there are multiple enemies, and the Stolen Brave can overflow up to 120% of max Brave. And of course, this is going to be an HP damage split between all enemies and will grant her the Healing Petals buff for 2 turns. Now while this buff is active, all party members basically will have a prevention of a KO if their HP is at least 50% of their max HP, I should say, and it will leave them with 1 HP if they do get a killing blow. Now Healing Petals also gives the following effects. It raises the party's attack and raises the party's max Brave overflow limit for Stolen Brave. This does have a normal recast speed at 1 out of 3, slightly increasing the Brave damage dealt, at 2 out of 3 increasing the duration for Healing Petals by 2 turns, and at 3 out of 3 this will slightly increase the recast speed for Cherry Blossom. Now if you do decide to realize this weapon at 0 out of 3, this will now become a 6-hit range AoE Brave plus HP attack that is executed twice. It will increase its total Brave potency and moderately raising the Brave damage dealt by jump and high jump. At 1 out of 3, this will increase her max Brave and attack. At 2 out of 3, when the quest starts, she will have Resist Wind and Healing Petals for 6 turns. And when she uses the Cherry Blossom ability, this also extends the duration of Healing Petals by 2 turns. At 3 out of 3, Healing Petals will gain a new property. Basically, this will now grant the party HP regen. And when using Cherry Blossom, this will now raise the party's Brave based on her max Brave before the Brave hits. This will also increase the Brave potency and greatly increasing the max Brave overflow limit. Now the bonus sphere for this one is HP up all. This raises the party's max HP by 10%. Alright guys, so after hearing all this information regarding Freya's rework and of course her brand new EX that's coming to global, and of course the EX Plus, how much ingot should you be investing on Freya? Now to me, this is going to be a very controversial, I guess, take on this. I don't know if it's going to be, but I feel like it's going to be. Because to me, I think at 0 out of 3, this EX Plus is already pretty good. at minimum at 0 out of 3 is already really good, because you already get the extra HP attack and, you know, and increased brave damage for your jump and your high jump. I think most of what you really want is already at 0 out of 3. If you're willing to spend a little bit more ingots, sure, you're gonna get a little bit more out of this EX Plus, of course. And I think you come into this situation where 0 out of 3 is already good, but if you like or really like Freya, you can add ingots upon ingots until you get 3 out of 3. You're just getting a little bit extra every time you actually do this, which I guess for the most part that's what EX Plus really is. You just get increments of stuff, but the main stuff is already there at 0 out of 3. So 1 out of 3 is nice, you get a little bit more brave, max, and attack. 2 out of 3 you get, you know, your buffs at the start, so you don't actually have to use your abilities. But I think it would have been nice if the stack, the Dragon Crest stack, is already there as well. But I guess you can use that at your first turn now. You don't have to set up Reese's Wind. And that 3 out of 3 extra HP regen, I feel like Reese's Wind is already enough, or Reese's Wind, I don't know how to, yeah, Final Fantasy stuff, right? Anyway, I was saying the HP regen for that's added to Healing Petals, I don't know if it's worth that, you know, to go 3 out of 3 for that. I guess it's nice to have. Plus, obviously, you do get more max brave overflow limit, and the nice thing is this turns into a brave battery for the entire team. So I guess I can sort of justify going 3 out of 3 because that brave battery is always nice. But honestly speaking, that HP regen, I think Reese's Wind already covers that. They could have given her something else. So to me, again, I think it's a very controversial take to start at 0 out of 3, but I feel like it's actually pretty good to start at 0 out of 3. As for my max, I kind of want to go 2 out of 3, but I think 3 out of 3 is okay. The HP regen, it's okay, you know, it's nice. It would have been like nicer to have something else, but I think the brave battery to the entire party is actually pretty nice. It may prevent you from getting broken, and of course the increase in max brave overflow I think can sort of justify going 3 out of 3, but I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't highly recommend going for 3 out of 3. I can sort of justify it in a small way, but you know, if you basically, this EX weapon, you can pick from 0 to 3. It's really going to be up to you guys at which point you really want to stop. So it's one of those things where I feel like, yeah, any amount of plus you put on this EX is already worth it. Okay guys, now let's take a look at Prompto'S rework, which will start this off with his first ability, the Star Shell Extend. Now this is still going to be a brave battery for everyone. This now has an increase in the duration for both lock and the evasion rate. This now has 12 turns of 30% physical attack up, where when it used to be just 10. And this also now gets a 3-hit range brave attack plus HP attack after use, and the stolen brave can overflow up to 150% of his max brave. Now moving on to I guess the biggest change for Prompto, which makes him much better, is the Piercer Extend, his ability 2. So the rework just it actually does a lot. It increases the brave hit count to 5, increasing the potency. The overflow still remains the same, however this now deals splash damage to non-targets, which is really nice. It's 50%. This also adds a defense down duration up to +2, and this gives him the life of the party buff, which is brand new. This actually gives him a max brave up and attack up. Now the brave attack plus is still pretty much the same. Overkill has an increase in brave hit count and gains brave potency. This will still have a low action delay. Now HP attack plus will get a increase in potency as well, and crack shot will now have a increase in potency plus a 20% HP damage dealt to non-targets. Now let's move on to his EX weapon, the Quicksilver, and his EX ability, Trigger Happy, which is not a new EX by the way. However, it will be getting its EX Plus or Realization, but let's talk about the Trigger Happy ability first. This is going to be a range brave attack plus HP attack delivered 10 times. So if you know Sid from Final Fantasy VII's EX ability, this is pretty much like that. The first brave attack and HP attack will be delivered to the target, and the other remaining 9 is going to be distributed based on the number of enemies. This will also give him the King's Buddy buff, and this will have a slightly fast recast speed. Now the King's Buddies buff it basically raises the party's max brave attack and will raise Prompto'S speed as well. However, this will not stack in terms of the speed anyway. However, at 1 out of 3, this will increase the brave damage dealt. At 2 out of 3, increasing its recast speed. And at 3 out of 3, increasing the critical brave damage dealt by 20%. Now, if you do decide to realize this weapon at 0 out of 3 when you're using Trigger Happy, the brave hits now becomes AoE. Now, it's important to note it's only the brave hits, not the HP damage. This also increases the brave damage dealt by 60% when attacking a single target, and will have a 120% max brave overflow. At 1 out of 3, this will increase his max brave and attack. At 2 out of 3, this will now give him Life of the Party and King's Buddy buff at the start of the quest. At 3 out of 3, this will increase the total brave potency of Trigger Happy by 150%. And after using Trigger Happy, your brave attack and its other variants will become Overkill Plus for 1 turn. Now Overkill Plus increases the party's brave by 100% of attack before its brave attack. The brave hit count becomes 4, and increasing the total brave potency compared to its plus variant. This will also have 2 turns of 70% of attack down debuff, and will have a low action delay. Now the HP attack and its variants will become Crack Shot Plus for 1 turn. At 3, this will be a 3-hit range brave plus HP attack that actually ignores defense. This increases the brave potency by 110% compared to his HP attack plus, and the stolen brave can overflow up to 150% of his max brave. This will also have a 50% splash damage. And when the Life of the Party buff is active, now basically he will have the plus variant for both his brave and HP attack. The HP attack will be a 2-hit range brave plus HP attack with stolen brave overflow of 120%, and the brave attack plus is just going to be a 2-hit range brave attack. Okay guys, so after hearing all this information regarding Prompto'S rework, how much ingot should you be investing on Prompto? Honestly, to me, you gotta go 3 out of 3. If you like Prompto and you want to use him for any content, 3 out of 3 is the way to go. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of Prompto. I like the rework, which changed a little bit of his abilities, added a lot on his ability too. I just feel like they could have done more on the EX Plus, maybe increase the, I guess the brave hits is okay, becomes AoE, but if there's only 1 target, it's not much. But yeah, I'm just not a huge fan of this, like multiple 1 brave plus HP attack. I know it really adds up. I mean, 10 hits, that's like a lot. If you can actually pull off going 9999 damage every time, that's a lot of damage. So, but I'm just not a huge fan of it. I don't know why, but if you really like Prompto, I highly suggest and highly recommend you going 3 out of 3, because you get a lot out of this. At 3 out of 3, Crack Shot Plus, which ignores defense, his added DPS is really nice, and of course the plus variant for both his HP and brave attack is always nice. The HP attack is actually pretty decent. It's not impressive, but it's pretty decent. You know, and oh, I actually forgot to mention the bonus sphere, which is going to be critical attack boost up long, which is going to deal when dealing a critical hit, this raises the max brave and attack by 5% for 6 turns, which is really nice as well. So overall, I think 3 out of 3 for Prompto. Okay guys, so we're finally towards the end of this video, and of course, the last question is, should you pull? In my honest opinion, you're pulling for Freya more than anything. I think a lot of people are pulling for Freya in this manner, if anything. This is going to be a very hard maybe for me. It's very hard for me to actually recommend really pulling on this banner when we know who's coming up soon, very very soon. Arciela, and of course Case or Kais. Oh, I don't know. This is Final Fantasy pronunciation stuff. I had it enough with this. It's the same thing as Titus and Tedious. So anyway, moving on. Yeah, if anything, I suggest use your tickets, see if you get lucky. If not, then you know, it's not the end of the world. Freya is pretty decent and I really like her. Like I said, if I actually manage to grab her EX, I probably will just stick with 0 out of 3. I think it's pretty decent. Maybe 1 out of 3 just to get the extra max brave and attack, but you know, it's pretty decent already, even at, you know, 0 out of 3 like I mentioned before. So for Prompto though, I already got his EX. That's why it's you know, it's harder for me to pull on this banner when I already got his EX. I guess the good thing about that, currently my Prompto's EX is actually not max limit broken, so if I do get copies, I do end up saving some power stones. So yeah, other than that, yeah, I really suggest avoid using your gems on this one, unless of course they are your favorites. Anyway guys, I think I will end the video right here. Please do remember to click like and subscribe once again if you haven't already. Hit that bell button as well. I really do appreciate all the support that you guys give me, and it helps with the YouTube algorithm as well. Make sure to follow me on Twitter and on Facebook at Munchkins Gaming. Leave down in the comments below if you're planning to pull on this banner, and let me know who you're pulling for. Are you pulling for Prompto or are you pulling for Freya? Let me know down in the comments below. Anyway guys, this is Munchkins logging off. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next level.